Hi, I'm Dove Sinclair with the Power of the Patient Project. My guest today is Nicola Salter. Nicola is an international mentor, quantum field practitioner, educator, and author. She's originally from London, where she worked with well-known international business-to-business corporations, as well as residential and commercial property marketing for 15 years. During this time, she also developed a passion for biofield communication and quantum physics. Nicola is now in Los Angeles as an international mentor, helping women and entrepreneurs love what they do and make success of it by building businesses and also fulfilling relationships with the work that they offer. So welcome, Nicola. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I am really excited to be with you today. Thank you.
Of course. So you certainly have a lot of experiences in your life this far. Can you tell us what you're currently doing at your practice in LA and how you're helping entrepreneurs love what they do?
Yeah, of course, I'd love to. I think because of my background in the corporate world and then also branching into um, the alternative or complementary health field as well, I've been able to really bridge that gap with understanding business and then also helping people develop a deeper sense of themselves for business as well as for themselves, and then also building out things that they want to create for themselves. So at the moment where I'm at is I help women to dive deeper into who they are and their purpose and create an offering, a service, a new career direction that really fits with who they are. So it's a process of discovery and then building out an offering which they can then monetize and just feel very fulfilled by and excited by. So within that, there's certain tools that we use to help these women break free of some of those limiting emotions that most of us have, like self-doubt and lack of confidence, maybe low self-esteem. And I do tend to spend quite a bit of time in that category before we're able to move into what they want to actually build out, because those limiting emotions really do get in the way. So there's various tools and various methods that I use to help them break free of those. And then we dive into, all right, what is it you're here to do? What excites you? What fulfills you? And then I've worked with some amazing women, many who are influencers, senior management, CEOs, really helping them to either take their next best steps, moving forward with what they've already created, or just starting something completely new.
Wow, that's so interesting. So you help them develop like what they want to do, and do you help them like with a business plan and get them started?
hmm
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
we're coming from it's more of a what I call holistic business approach. So it's very much about the mind and body connection. Before you create anything, you really need to know who you are. So there's quite an emotional feel underneath this, and then we get into the coaching and the building out and what this looks like, price points, branding, all of that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's so interesting. And it makes sense too, because you have to really understand yourself before go in that entrepreneur side of things.
Yeah, you do. And I was going, I would say to you, being an entrepreneur is quite an adventure. I've been doing it for 25 years. And, you've really got to be committed and love what you do to see it through and not give up. So that foundation of knowing who you are and your purpose is absolutely fundamental to any kind of work that you're doing.
hmm Do you find that once you mentor someone and they actually find out who they are, is their business more successful in that way? Like, is it in long term?
It seems to be, from what I've seen in the last few years, is that what happens is because they're on a track, because they're on a purpose, and they're on a track, they don't get so distracted by other opportunities that might come in. And it's like, oh, let me just try this, or let me just try that. They stay on track to what they're supposed to be doing. So when you put your intention on your attention, it becomes easier to become more successful at what you're here to do. So, yeah, basically, they stay on track and they don't get so distracted.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's so
Yeah.
neat. Um, yeah. I also know that you do Reiki healing. And for those of us who might not know what Reiki is, can you explain that and what some of the benefits might be?
Yeah, of course. Now, Reiki means the universal energy life flow, okay? And in everyday language, that means energy flow. And part of some of the tools that I use for my clients when we are building out new directions for them, is to use Reiki. It's a form of balancing the electrical flow in the body. As a facilitator, I do hands-on work with these people. So I place my hands over key energy points on the body, and there is a biofield communication between me and the person I'm working on. And what's happening is that the cells in our body create electricity. All right. And so when we bring more electricity or electrical flow into someone's body, physical body, it helps to boost the electricity in the cells. So it creates improved health. It helps to de-stress. It helps to manage anxiety. It helps with pain management. And it also helps with improved intuition for that person and an inner knowing for themselves. So it's very, like, if you were to see me in the office doing this, you'd just see me with my hands on a person or a few inches above a person. You think, what's going on over there? But there's a flow of energy. There's a communication between me and this other person, and I'm facilitating this flow. So, at the end of this, what happens is that most people have improved self-connection, self-awareness. They have perhaps improved resilience to stress, so they're less triggered. They're better able to manage their anxiety and panic attacks, and it just helps calm the whole nervous system down.
And I know you said biofield communication. Is there like a similarity between that and the quantum field mentoring work that you do? Is it kind of like in the same area?
It's in the same genre. I mean, in terms of the theories of quantum physics that cover the quantum field theory, you're looking at things that are not visible to the human eye. Okay, so it's difficult for the brain to understand the concept, but you're working with frequencies of energy like radio waves. And what happens is, in quantum physics, it's the physics that explains how everything works, right? In quantum physics. And it's the nature of the particles that make up the matter and the forces that surround us. And these matter and forces have energies and frequencies that you can't see. So Reiki is part of that. And it's about where you put your attention. So where you put your attention becomes the physical. So it's just like you asked me earlier. You said to me about, do you see the people you work with becoming more successful after the mentoring, right? Well, yes, because I've got them on a track of where they put their attention. And that's part of quantum physics. It's scientifically proven that where you put your attention, that will occur.
Wow, that's
So
so
that can be for negative or positive. It's like
right.
the rule of The Secret. I think, I don't know, you're young, you might not know The Secret. But The Secret came out years ago, sort of explaining the universal laws and the laws of attraction. And there was a couple of things that they left out. But the Secret really was the door that opened up to the quantum physics theory for the general public to understand more. And it was all about where you put your attention
Right.
for what you want to create in your life.
Yeah, I feel like I read a book about that. It's called like The Secret, something by the Book of Secrets or something like that. But it talks about, what you just mentioned, the quantum physics and where you put your attention. That's so interesting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, how did you get into this? Like, how did you even pick it up?
So this I won't bore you with a huge long story, but to give you like highlights, when I was in London in the corporate world, I just felt that there was more. And I can't tell you why that was, but I was in my late 20s and I just felt there must be more than this. And the corporate world was great. I was in business to business doing events and all sorts of exhibitions and things, and marketing and PR. But what caught my eye is that I'd been using essential oils and aromatherapy for many years back in my teens, and I was fascinated by plant medicine. So I started going to college while I was in the corporate world, learning all about plant medicine, holistic medicine, and my teachers there opened my eyes to Reiki and all about biofield communication and how everything has an energy, even plants and oils, and how they resonate with the human body's energy field. So I just dove into study, and then it just went from there. It just was like a snowball. One door opened to another, and I was just exposed to so many different ways of seeing things and perspectives, that with the aromatherapy that I learned, and then the Reiki, and then the energy work, and then the coaching and the mentoring, and then working in the corporate field as well. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things happening here. And then I was able to finally bring it all together when I came to Los Angeles.
It's
Yeah,
so
it was a curiosity. That's all it was. There must be more out there. That was the question I had.
clearly there was.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah.
Yeah. And now lastly, I know you talk a lot about, the importance of finding your self-awareness, and being just self-aware. So how does this help people, not from only a professional standpoint, but like in just an everyday life?
Right. I mean, I think staying curious about yourself is a fundamental piece of growing in your life. And you don't have to redefine yourself to get a new career every 5 years or something like that. But on a personal note, when you start to understand who you really are, and it takes a long time to catch up to who we really are, because we have so many experiences that we've had in childhood that have become stories for us, right? And sometimes these are very negative. These stories that we've come to believe that create limiting emotions. And so just diving into really understanding how you react to situations, or what might trigger you, for example, is an adventure in of itself. And to start improving on that, pick one overriding negative emotion that you perhaps have, or a reaction that you have that you would like to change. Perhaps it's like you get triggered in a friendships if other people go off and do things and they don't include you, maybe. It could be one thing on a personal note, and that's triggering your sense of abandonment or rejection that you might have experienced when you were a child. So, like, dive into that, go and get some talk therapy, look at some ways of doing holistic therapy around that. So, redefining yourself really is being curious on a personal level about how you operate in the world and how you impact others, so that you can improve that, so you don't need to be in this continuous place of reaction or stress.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. That's so great. I love what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. There are so many different pathways in what I do to support people, but the priority is to empower them to break free from the self doubt, the confidence, the negative emotional drains that they're experiencing, and give them new perspectives so that they can thrive and be successful in a life that they really deserve. We all
Right.
deserve that. And even ill health can or may come from a continued response mechanism that we have that is negative. In Chinese medicine, you'll find that emotions are very tied into different organs in the body. So, for example, they believe that the liver and the gallbladder are to do with frustration, anger, and resentment.
Mhm.
So your emotions are fundamentally tied into your physical well-being, and really understanding who you are and calming those emotions down will improve your general well-being and health as well.
Yeah, I think this is something that modern medicine is just now starting to learn about too and accept finally. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's basically we get dysregulated when we're under stress, and any overriding emotion can trigger high levels of cortisol in the system. Whereas when you're in a state of peace, relaxation, not so much reaction, and you're in a place of having these renewing thoughts all the time, you're creating more DHEA in the body, which is calming and rejuvenating and nourishing. So,
okay.
yeah, it's sort of a very long answer to your question, but that's, redefining yourself on a personal level. It really is fundamental to all areas of your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Those are all the questions that I have for you today. Is there anything else that you would like to add though?
Um, well, In case anyone's interested, I think it's important to share too that, in the tools that I use to support my clients, and there are many, essential oils. If anyone's, interested in diving into aromatherapy more, essential oils are amazing for helping to calm the nervous system by the way in which they trigger different neurotransmitters from the brain. So when you
Mhm.
smell an essential oil, you definitely can get a shift in your mood and well-being. And lavender, for example, is great for releasing serotonin or dopamine from the brain to calm and relax you.
Mhm.
And I do have a whole course developed for that, an online course, which is on my website, and it supports people to use essential oils for their emotional wellness.
Yeah, definitely. So they can just check out your website and there should be like a link there for them to look at if they're
Yeah, if,
interested.
if they go to the on if they go to courses, there's an online course called How to Decode and Calm Your Emotions, and they'll find some methods and techniques in there to help them break free of, stress and anxiety and panic and overwhelm, which we can often feel when we're not well as well, and we're going through health issues. So it's on the website.
Perfect. Great. Well, I'm sure I definitely learned quite a bit, and I'm sure all of our viewers will too. So thank you so much, Nicola, for agreeing to be part of our project.
It's been a joy, and I love answering all your questions. They're really great questions, and I hope this will be of use to everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Definitely.